Oh dear. Hello, 17 people on. That was quick. Just give us a second to get set up, boys and girls. Trying to find. Here we go. Here we go. That's what I'm looking for. Always looking for the comments so I can read the comments off here and not off there. And now I found them. Someone's disliked already. I've only been on them less than a minute. Right, let's go back. So before I listen to you, you're going to have to listen to me for a bit. I've just watched that, obviously, from indoors. I was supposed to be going to the game today. I didn't end up going to the game today because my mate went down to the den yesterday. I was struggling to get down there this week. And he went, oh, do you want to come or not? I'll pick you a ticket up. I said, yes. He got down there at 2:15 yesterday, and the tickets had gone off sale at 2 o'clock. So he missed it by 15 minutes. He didn't get me a ticket. I was still going to travel today and just get a ticket up there, but then my kids wanted to stay last night, so I didn't end up going. And I've just watched the whole thing on a stream. Don't ask me to stream because I'm not going to tell you, so it's pointless even asking. But I need to protect the person that streams it, and obviously I want to keep watching it if I don't get to go to the away games. So frustrating. 8 dislikes already. I haven't even got going yet. So I don't know who's watched it and who didn't, who was there and who wasn't. But if you was there, tell me what you think, because I just watched the whole thing on iFollow, and it's hard to know what to say, because in parts we was very good, and in other parts we was definitely not so good. It's just, if teams get a chance against us, they expose it. You know, if they get a chance, they score it. All right, the penalty they missed. But they didn't have a great deal of chances in the second half. And maybe that's a difference in class between us and Leeds. I don't know what we're thinking. But I want to praise the manager in some ways, because judging by today and by Brighton, and although we have conceded after extra time 5 goals in those last 2 games, we've also scored 7 in our last 3. And despite 2 of those being defeats, we look like we've got enough, in my opinion, to stay up at the minute. We look like we've got enough. Rotherham lost 6-1 today. As it stands, we are now 21st and just 1 place and 1 point outside the relegation zone. For me, we've got 5 cup finals coming up, and that's West Brom at home, that's Bristol City at home, that's Brentford, QPR and Stoke at home. That's them 5 off the top of my head. They're our 5 cup finals. And if we perform like we have been against these sides, next 2 games are massive. West Brom at home and QPR at home. We take 4 points there, then we are heading towards very much the right way. But frustrating as fuck. Let's go to the questions. I will pick a question. A few people saying hello. Josh Hobbs, hello. Jack Capel, hello. Dino, you're gutted, mate. Someone said it's terrible there. Andrew Wedden says, thought we played well. We did play well. We was the better side, but when we scored, it wasn't against the run of play. We had a couple of good chances. James Slaughter, hello. How you doing, mate? It's just tough to take. It's tough to know what to say. And usually when I do a show, I've got it all there ready to go, you know. And today I've just put it on. I thought, let's just go raw. Let's just go off the cuff. Josh just asked my opinion on Dave Martin. Thought he played well. I haven't seen the goals back. He saved the penalty. Assured, he fills me with confidence, Dave Martin. And could he have done much of any of the goals either? Matthew Fuller just said. No, the first one definitely not. The second one I'm not so sure. The third one, I mean, they're queuing up, and we're allowing them to have the ball. We don't close them down quick enough. It's strange as well, because Marlon Romeo, I thought he was brilliant today defensively. I said it in a video that I'm going to put out. It was like a vlog of me watching the game. Marlon Romeo was brilliant in patches, but then if you look back at their 2 goals, they both come from his side. He hasn't shut the people down. When is the next giveaway? Someone's just asked. At 10,000 subscribers. Let's talk about this game for now. No, we can't seem to finish a game off. PZ Studio says we can't seem to finish a game off, and we can't seem to hold a league. And then Dylan Vlog says we played our heart out, and we did. We did play our heart out. That's why it's tough to take, and it's tough to know who to blame, if there is blame. I'm not even saying there is blame. Leeds are a very good side. They've been at the top of the table all season. They've spent a lot of money. I think they've got like a Is it Real Madrid's old goalkeeper in goal? It's just, structure-wise and budget-wise, we've put up a fucking good fight there today, but twice we've led. We've led twice. It's not easy. And, Tom says, follow 60 Shades of Clean on, can I get my finger right? My finger's got to be there. There it is. One of our sponsors, 60 Shades of. Go and follow them, boys and girls, on Instagram. 60 Shades of Clean. Morrow's in. See, this is the thing. Josh just said he has no idea why we keep Morrow in the squad. And I think today wasn't far off our worst side. If we go through it, Dave Martin is between him and Amos. I don't mind as long as it's not Archer. Marlon Romeo. Yeah, maybe our best right back. James Meredith's had to play today. And that's not down to anything other than Shane Ferguson's being suspended. And being down to Murray Wallace being out injured for the rest of the season. The two centre-halves, Jake Cooper and Alex Pearce. Then you have three central midfielders, Ryan Tunnicliffe. I'm trying so hard to like Tunnicliffe. Honestly, he didn't touch the fucking ball. He had a shot over the bar, and I saw him knock a ball to feet in the second half. I don't hear his name mentioned. Ryan Leonard today, I thought he did well again, especially second half. You know he's out there at least, And along with him in midfield, played Ben Thompson, the third central midfielder. Sean Williams got dropped out. I'd still play Williams in front of either Leonard or Tunnicliffe because he is he gives something different. For me, Tunnicliffe and Leonard are too similar. You had Jed Wide right, who again, as the team, as the manager, as the tactic, is in and out. Jed's give away the penalty for their goal, and we was on the attack 3 against 2, and he's just played a terrible pass, a basic pass. The moves broke down, Leeds have equalised, but on the other flip side of that, he's been involved in our goal. So, Lucas Wright asks, do I think Millwall will stay up? And although we've slipped further down the table today, I am going to say, yes, I think we will stay up. I think we've showed enough in the last 3 games for us to say that we're going to stay in division. Someone's just said Tunnicliffe shit, and I don't want to say any Millwall players shit. I want them all to do well, because if they do well, the club does well, we're all happy. We're paying money to watch, so we get our money's worth. The channel, we do well on the better of better results. So, pardon me, I've just burped, but that's what you might get with a live show. I can't see what Tunnicliffe does, honestly. He did not touch the ball. He did not touch the ball, and you can't go. He's a bit of a luxury player. If you go to... If you're a top side like Leeds and Tunnicliffe don't really do a lot and he plays for Leeds and he's just distributing the ball left and right, that's great. But if you're Millwall and, the chips are down, you need people to dig in and fight. You need people to stand up and be counting. I don't think that Tunnicliffe is that. Someone said, PZO Studio says, 50-50, do we think Gregory is going or staying? I need to be very careful what I say, but I am quietly... very confident that Lee Gregory won't be here next season. But today, he hasn't been in the game, Gregory. But is it his fault? He's isolated to fuck. He's 40 yards away from anyone when they get the ball. It doesn't say how many people are watching here. It says 90 people have liked it, which is good, and 18 people have disliked it, which is not so good. Any questions on today's game? Did anyone online now go to today's game, unlike me? Chris Ballard says, is Harris the man to take us forward next season in either division? It's a good question. I think if you look at Neil Harris's overall record, he's done well as a Millwall manager. You can't argue what he's achieved in a very short space of time. We was playing shit this season. Now we're playing good one day, bad the next. We're very inconsistent. If we stay up, then obviously he'll have to stay. It will be seen as another successful season, especially along with the quarter-final of the FA Cup. But I would be reluctant if I was the chairman to let Harris spend money because I don't think he always gets it right with the money spending. If we go down, I don't think Harris will walk. Will he get sacked? I don't think he will either. Maybe even in the Prem. That's not going to happen, mate, anytime soon, unfortunately. Am I going to West Brom? Yes, I am. Am I happy that Fred is playable? Well, he's unplayable. Fred unplayable and Yadimma. I mean, if you look at our last 3 games, we played Brighton in the Cup, we've played Birmingham away, we've played Leeds away. Listen, Leeds away is not an easy game. It's a very tough game. We approached it in the right way. We was doing the right things. It's just lapses in either concentration or individual areas where people were switched off. I don't think you can blame the manager. I don't know. It's a very tough one. It's not really happened before. This up and down. You might have... start the season well, 10 good games, or famously as we always start seasons badly, then go on a decent run, then fall away. We can't seem to maintain a level of consistency in one game, let alone 3 or 4. Freddie Old Meadow says, I don't understand how we can do so well last season and then not this season. It's a question that we've discussed on Lions TV, mate. There's a show going out next week where what has been the biggest problem this season? Has it been second season syndrome? Is it the fact you've had clubs that didn't go up last season, that were expecting to go up last season, like Aston Villa, like Middlesbrough, like Norwich, like Leeds, who have then gone and spent a lot more money to try and get up the divisions? And also on top of that, don't forget you've had Stoke, West Brom, and someone else who I can't remember, Swansea, have come down. So it's a competitive market, and it's getting harder to get out of the division and stay in division. We didn't spend too much compared to other clubs, but we didn't spend wisely. But it's hard for us. As a club, the best that we can hope for, and it isn't easy deciding on these transfers for the manager because we have to take risks. You're never going to get a Prem player signed for Millwall. You're never going to get a Championship player signed for Millwall. The best Millwall fans can hope for, the absolute top of the market that we can hope for, is a Tom Eaves from League One. And I'm not saying Tom Eaves is a good player. I'm not saying he's the answer. But below that, you'll see us do what we've done recently when we signed the fish and chip maker, Harry Ramsden, or Harry Ransom, whatever he's called. We have to go to get those lower division players and try and take a punt, take a gamble, make players of them, which isn't easy. But at the minute, I'm gonna on the back of that today. I'm gonna say, despite being 5 defeats in 6, and despite slipping down to one place outside the relegation zone, I'm gonna say it is. It's a good. I can see positives from today. Leeds isn't an easy place to go. They smashed West Brom 4-0 on Saturday the other week. They've got bags and bags and millions, and as a fan base, as a club structurally, the chairman, the manager, they're all expecting, as a city, they're expecting Leeds to be in the Premier League. And I think today, I haven't checked the results, but I think Sheffield United drew with Bristol City, which sends Leeds back second. Sorry, I'm ranting here. Let's go to questions. I haven't got my glass on. I have to get close. That makes me look a little bit boss-eyed. Anthony McKenzie says, I think Millwall have enough to get out. Leeds are a great team on the day, which they are. Huddersfield have gone down today. Yes, they have. Sheffield United, someone's put Sheffield United lost 3-3. How does that work out? Paul Monkhouse said we should sign young Premier League players on loan to help us, as Kenny Jackett used to. It's nice in theory. We see Barnsley do that when they beat us in the League One final. They borrowed a couple of players from here and there, Liverpool, Man City, I think. But once you get out of the division, that's all great. But then you got to sustain yourself, and sustain yourself, is that even a word? You've got to sustain yourself, and establish yourself in the new division that you're in. We say it with Millwall. It's not an easy club to come and play for. The Lions Den, it's for a youngster, it'll be a good experience as it's proved in the past for people like Harry Kane. And it is character building, but it's not the easiest place probably to come on loan. It's probably, if we're honest, not one of the most desirable places to come on loan either for players. That, we've seen it before. I remember a few years ago, not that we wanted him anyway, the prick, but Jermaine Pennant turned down a loan move to Millwall because it's not an easy place to come and play and ply your trade. It just isn't. So getting young players from the Premier League is good in theory, but will they want to come and will they make the grade? It's very tough. I think you can get away with that more in the lower leagues, League Ones, League Two, but to the Championship, it's difficult. Any more questions? Well, who should we sign next season? Someone's just asked. I've just covered that. It's tough because... hang on, JB, let's go on to you. Which of the following games is most crucial for us? And what do I reckon? That's a good question. Now, if you look at the fixtures, I think we've got 3 home games that are very, very winnable. And they are QPR, Brentford and Stoke. We got results at home against Brentford and QPR last season, although Brentford was a very, very tough win. And Stoke are sort of... You're looking at clubs now that can't go up and they can't go down, so they sort of not got a lot to play for. Listen, Stoke will come down, they're going to have a good away support, they're a big club. But I think if we win those 3 games, I think we'll be safe. As I said, Rotherham today have lost 6-1, so we're not getting rolled. We rarely get rolled by high scores, really. You never see me lose 4-5-0. We've put up a good fight today, but they're the games, mate. Good question. the games, we've got some very tough away games. Still, we've played Leeds today. We've got Sheffield United away. We've got Aston Villa away. Believe we might have someone else, I'm not sure. But, Wigan away in the last game of the season. But I think if we get the results against QPR, against Stoke, and against Brentford, we can stay in the division. Every home game that's massive. And if we can perform like we did against Brighton, against West Brom, quietly confident, touch wood, that we should stay in this division. I've missed that joke. I've just seen the laughter. Any more questions? Do I think that Harris will be given money to spend? At the Norwich game, my dad said it was the first time that he's seen the lower tier sold out. Well, that lower tier is a problem for us because a lot of the times we give clubs the lower tier and there seems to be a little, there can be a little bit of a kerfuffle, a little bit of trouble. So that's difficult. But do I think Harris will get money to spend? If we stay up, he'll have to. If we don't spend money and sign players in the summer, we will go down next season with a record number of minimum points. I'm sure of it. Should I get the next Millwall home tickets? I need help. Yes, James Slaughter, of course you should get Millwall home tickets. I think, it may be a myth, but I think it's been proven that if we can fill the ground and get more people there, it does make a difference to the atmosphere and it has an effect on the team. We got to try and fill the den. It's all good having a good atmosphere 3-4 times a season. And I'm one to talk because I was on the Leeds today, but it's one of the very few games I've missed this season. But we need the den now will be key in us staying up. Alex Skip says, do I think Jed and Jake Cooper will stay? Yes, a Rocking Den is the best KMB. Do I think Jed and Jake Cooper will stay? I've got to be honest, and I love them both as players, but where would they go? Honestly, where would Jake Cooper go? Not so much Cooper. Where would Jed Wallace go? He gives the ball away too much. And, that, we love him at Millwall. He runs his nuts off, and he's a great player, and he gives everything for the shirt. And in time, he could be a Millwall legend. But Jed's been higher. Didn't make the grade. So he's dropped back down. I think he's found his level, Jed Wallace. His deliveries aren't consistently good enough for him to go on to the next stage. So I think they will stay. I think Jake Cooper's a possibility. He could go if we go down. Jake Cooper in a side that hasn't got to defend as much as we do will look an even better player than he already does. But again, I think we're too reliant on both those players. I think we're too reliant on Jed and we're too reliant on Jake Cooper. We rely too heavily on 2 or 3 players to try and dig us out the shit. We rely on Cooper to score us goals. That says a lot. Any more questions? I'm going to have a quick lager. Questions? Sparky says, would I rather be mid-table every year or bounce back in between them both? I'd rather be mid-table every year, mate. Honestly, I can't keep doing League One. From a supporter's perspective, also to be honest, from a very selfish perspective, for the channel, we don't want to be back in League One. We need this channel to grow. The club, I think, the longer you stay in the division, the more money you get, the more established you become. And through my childhood, we was an established Championship club. We finished sort of top 10, top 12. It was a good existence with the occasional cup run. But that's all we want. Do we want to go in League One? No, because if you go down, as we've proved before in the past, not so much under Harris, because we got back at the second time of Aston. But I remember when we went down back in the day under McGee, or when McGee left, we're just going to League One for a holiday. It took us fucking 7 years to get back into the Championship. Championship's big business now, big money. So the Championship is where we want to be, and I will happily stay in the Championship and just be mid-table. What happened to Sid Nelson? Alex Skip, I've just asked him 2 of your questions. Sid Nelson is online at Tranmere, mate. He's not going to make the grade at Mill. You might as well forget about him. Ricky Dobson says, do I think Harris needs a more experienced head next to him? I think Livermore can take the bullet a lot of the times when people don't want to blame Harris. But I think it would just contradict Harris's position. I can't, to get rid of Livermore and then if someone comes in next to him and things still don't change, then, people will be pointing the finger at Harris again. I think it's harsh on Livermore. Not that I'm saying he's a great, fantastic coach, because I don't know what the fuck he does, if I'm honest. But I think Harris wouldn't want someone undermining his position as manager. Ros Fault, Leeds. Enjoy it, love. It's been a while, so you can enjoy that one. Yes, James Slaughter, I am going to the Millwall QPR game. I'll be at every game from now to the end of the season. It's very rare I miss one. Josh Hobb says, what do I think the budget will be for us during the summer? Well, a mate of mine said to me, it's not concrete. Didn't come from inside the club. Oh, we're going to get 7 million in the summer. We're going to get 7 million, the George Savile money. Well, as I've said before, we've had 4 million of that on Scalac, Bradshaw and Leonard. So whatever we get won't be sufficient enough to compete with the rest of the teams in the Championship, put it that way. Whatever we get, whatever sort of money we get, I can't see it being loads. It might be 2-3 million. But as I said, I think we'll go for lower league. We'll punt on players from the lower league. MOT, you can't need an MOT. Go and get one then, mate. I know what MOT means, I'm joking. You've never been to the New Den. Of course, you shouldn't be calling it the New Den, mate. It's been there since 1993. It's Venom says, should we sign another left back? Meredith's gone, mate. Meredith's absolutely shot to pieces. And he was never the greatest footballer, but he was a good defender. His distribution was always shit. But Meredith has got to go at the end of the season. Unfortunately, Shane Ferguson was suspended today and Murray Wallace is out for the rest of the season. So I think we've got ample cover there for left back, if I'm honest. So no, I don't think we need to sign a new left back. We've just been unfortunate with who's been fit and who's been eligible. With Ferguson suspended today, it was a big miss. Very big miss. Alex Skip says again, maybe I just like your name. What do you think is going to happen to Elliott and Morrison? Well, Steve Morrison's been offered another 1-year contract, apparently, as a player, which is, I love Morrow as a Millwall legend, but he shouldn't be playing anymore. He shouldn't be anywhere near the squad. Tom Elliott, for me, he gets a lot of hate and he is absolutely fucking useless. But you got to blame, if you're an apprentice, for example, plumber, and you keep blowing the gaff up, or electrician, whatever, you fix a toilet that doesn't flush if you're a plumber, but a bigger company comes in and sign you, you're not going to say no, you're going to go. For me, Elliott does the best he can. Yes, he's shit, but I then look to Neil Harris to say, okay, Gaffer, you was a very good forward yourself. Why the fuck have you signed this geezer? What did you see in him as being a striker yourself to think, do you know what, I'm going to sign Tom Elliott? Because he's awful. He's awful. He needs to go. Morrison needs to go. Gregory, I think, is going. So we definitely will be in the market for a forward next year. Someone said, do we give the youngsters a go? It would be lovely, but it's, it's if you could have anyone who plays in the Championship play for Millwall, who would it be? I've answered this one before, but Connor Ripley is a good goalkeeper. I'd like Adam Reach from Sheffield Wednesday. Billy Sharp, great forward. Well, Neil Parr said we need a goalkeeper for next season. And this is another puzzling thing that's going on at the club, because we have got 4 goalkeepers at the club. So not only wasting budget of wages on 4 goalkeepers, he brought Tom King back for absolutely no reason at all. He signed Amos. He's already had Dave Martin, and we've got Archer. So why have 4 goalkeepers? That doesn't make any sense to me. Josh Hobbs, opinion on Tim Cahill. Man's a club legend. That's all I've got to say about him. And he retired from football this week. We need 2 strikers down as well as a fit Bradshaw. Yeah, we need a complete overhaul. And I think we're waiting to see where we are as a club, as in what division we're going to be in. If, where we're going to move forward next season, striker-wise. But as I said before, I think what would you all say is a good striker realistically that we can get? You're going to have to go into the lower leagues and take a chance on someone. It's a difficult one. Do you realistically think you'll escape the drop from Sport Billy? That used to be a kids' book back in the day, Sport Billy, didn't it? So you're obviously not a Millwall fan, but it's a fair question. I didn't think we was going to stay up because we were just on a downward spiral. And although we have dropped even further down the league, I think I've seen enough from our last 2 league games against Leeds and against Birmingham to suggest that we've got enough to stay up. We just got to get games over the fucking line. We can't seem to do that. Yeah, cartoon character it was. You're Leeds, so that's fine. Yeah. What did you think of today? Do you think Millwall have got enough on today's performance of our club? What did you think of us today? Chris Ballard, do I think Gregory's waiting to see what's happening at the end of the season? No, I think it's still done with Gregory. I think he's off. Steve Johnson, do I think that Jed Wallace needs a rest? No, I don't think he needs a rest. I think he'd be more comfortable playing central than he is out wide, because I think when he gets the ball out wide, he's a little bit isolated and he's not getting on the ball as much as he would like, so he gets frustrated. But listen, I've just said it a minute ago, I'll say it again. I love Jed, and he works his bollocks off for the club, and he's a Millwall player, and you can see he wants to play for us. But his distribution is basically 50-50. He'll put one great pass and he'll put one shit one. And no disrespect to our club, maybe that's why he's playing for Millwall. But his distribution is not good enough, and that's why he didn't make it at the highest grade. But at the same time, he's the best of what we can hope for. So crack on, Jed. A lot of people are saying Norwood from Tranmere. I haven't seen him, so I don't know. I can't comment on that. Someone else just said Sammy Smodic from Colchester, who's a mate of mine. I'm sure he'd join Millwall if he got a chance. What Millwall player got my eye this season? James Slaughter. Good question, because as someone rightfully pointed out earlier on in the season, our season's been quite bad. It hasn't been quite bad, because if we stay up, it's a successful season. And the season we're having this season was the season we expected to have last season. But you got to say, Shane Ferguson's probably been one of our best players this year, and that says a lot about how the quality we've had for Shane Ferguson to be one of the best. It's worrying times. Gregory always works hard. I think there's plans in our side that if they was playing in other sides or different formations with different tactics, they'd really shine. Like Gregory, I think Aidan O'Brien would. I think Marlon Romeo would. Thoughts on James Meredith and James Brown from Roaring Lion. James Meredith was shot to bits, as I've said, and I don't know why, and it's a shame because he was brilliant last season. He was a brilliant defender. Going forward, his distribution was shit, and it still is even worse. He shot to bits, Meredith, but he had to play today due to suspensions and injuries. James Brown, the under-23s is a strange one. It was booked back by Neil Harris. Kenny Jackett done away with the academy, wasn't it? And then Harris brought it back. James Brown's been knocking around the club for years. He's been out on loan here, there and everywhere, Carlisle, Scotland, and he's never going to make the grade. Someone asked me the other day, and they was related to Danny McNamara, and they said, what do I think of Danny McNamara? And I said, he'll never make the grade at Millwall. And it's nothing against these players. It's the fact that Neil Harris will just fucking not play them. He won't involve them in the squad even, so they are wasting their time. Danny McNamara, Harry Donovan, I don't think is very good. Lewis White, there's a few. Also, as well as that, you've got players, they just won't, they're never going to get given a chance at Millwall. They're never going to get given a chance. Tom King, wasting his time. Tom King's career is on standstill until he leaves Millwall. He's never, ever going to play for us. So, I don't know if Harris just prefers experienced players or what, but James Brown's never going to play for Millwall. Danny McNamara's never going to play for Millwall. Lewis White's never going to play for Millwall. We've just signed 8 players from the youth team on permanent contracts. Billy Mitchell scored a great goal against Spurs in the FA Youth Cup. I don't know too much about him. I've seen a bit of George Alexander. I like him. And again, it's nothing against those players. They will never play for... I can't see him ever playing for Millwall. Ben Thompson and Marlon Romeo, although Marlon Romeo come from Gillingham, they're probably the most recent players to come through the academy. Who else has done that? And they're, and Aidan O'Brien and Fred. And they've been around for years. No one comes through the academy anymore. It's a little bit of a worrying one. because clubs like Millwall, who can't spend big, have to breed decent players through the academy, and it isn't happening for us. So, nothing against James Brown, nothing against Danny McNamara, but they're wasting their time at Millwall. They're never, ever going to get a sniff. So they might as well fuck off. Lyndon Gooch for Sunderland. Well, this is... someone said we should sign Lyndon Gooch for Sunderland. I'm actually might as well confess it now. I'm actually going to watch Sunderland Portsmouth tomorrow in the... some fucking Shield Cup final. I don't know what it is, but I've been given a free ticket, so I'm going. And a good mate of mine is a Sunderland fan. They paid nearly £4 million for, what's his name, Will Grigg. If you ask a player if they're going to leave Sunderland to join Millwall, it's never going to happen. Structurally, Sunderland are a bigger club than us. They're in League One. But this is the problem you've got. It's not just who you could sign, financial and budget-wise. It's if these players actually want to fucking come. Anyone else? Wagstaff from AFC Wimbledon. I've never heard of him, I'll be honest. Harry Mitchell. Do I think we'll keep Cooper? If we go down, no. If we go up, possibly. We should sign George Williams from Forest Green. Never heard of him. I'm not a great watcher or lover of lower league football. I'm a lover of it. But I'm so focused on this channel that I don't often get a chance to, I don't really know a lot of players from lower leagues. Norwood, Tranmere. A lot of people were saying it. But again, Norwood... how much do you think this Norwood is? I don't know who he is or how many goals he scored, but he obviously plays for Tranmere. How much do you think he would cost alone from a team in whatever league they're in? What, in League One, League Two? Harris just likes to play his old mates and doesn't give any opportunity to young players who could be Mill's future, says Ken. It's a fair point, Ken. It's a very fair point. At the minute, we're not in a position to be trying out youngsters because... we are struggling and we've got to rely on experience to try and get us out of this shit. But it would be nice to get safe, sooner rather than later, which doesn't look like it can possibly happen mathematically now, and give these youngsters a run. Because they don't get a chance. A lot of players don't get a chance. I'm not being funny. Yuri Skalak. What the fuck's happened to him? Where is he? As I said, Tom King. Don't ever play. Conor McLaughlin. Don't ever play. The list is endless of players we've got that just don't get a sniff. We sign players and then don't play them. And yes, Harris, to an extent, for me, the biggest thing that Harris is guilty of today at Leeds is we're losing a game and he's stuck on Aidan O'Brien, who will slow the game down and won't get you back into it. And no disrespect to Aidan, because I thought he's done very well when he started the last 2 FA Cup games. He's not a player that's going to come off the bench. You've got Aidan O'Brien, Tom Elliott and Steve Morrison all on the bench now, all been brought on last 5 minutes and been thrown up front. It's a fucking waste of time. It's an absolute waste of time. It's a fucking brain-dead move, because all you're going to do is go, oh, here we go, we've got 11 players on the pitch. Well, let's stick every fucker up front and shell the ball forward. That doesn't work like that. You've got to work as a team to get up the pitch. And at one point there today, we had so many forward-thinking players on, and not for the first time, he took Ben Thompson off and put fucking Elliott on. Like, where is the fucking mentality in that? Junior Drive says, so the $1 million question is, where do we go from here? And the honest answer is, I don't fucking know. We fight tooth and nail to stay in this division. We keep playing 4-5-1. It's something you can't pinpoint. And I like to think I know what I'm talking about, and I ain't got a bad audience, so I must make some sense, or people just like looking at my big moon head. But it's very difficult to pinpoint, to know who to blame for us keep letting Leeds slip. And excuse the pun, but today we've lost at Leeds as well. So we've lost so many points this season. I think we'd be 10 points better off, which would leave us 11 points clear of the relegation zone if every league game we played finished on the 80th minute. And I know that means if my aunt had bollocks, she'd be my uncle. But something's not right. I don't know whether it's fitness, whether the fitness levels drop for the last 10 and players get lazy, not lazy, lackadaisical, I think is the word. And, their performance levels drop. But someone somewhere has got to be held accountable for this lack in dipping. It's not even form. It's just... I've likened it before to be married to a schizophrenic, because you're there 1 minute, next minute you're up. I mean, at one point today, we was 2-1 up at Leeds and playing very well. Then we've ended up losing the game 3-2 for, again, another late goal. So it's, where do we go from here? We fight tooth and nail to stay in this division. We have to go what we got for now. We can't make any more signings. We've got someone somewhere might know the answer to why we keep letting in late goals and how to stop it. But at the minute, it doesn't seem like the manager or the team does, because it keeps happening. And if it keeps happening, you can't work out how to stop it, then you could be doomed. Enjoy League One, you pikey mug. Thank you very much. I will do. Thanks for tuning in to a fan channel. Chris Ballard says, what would be my starting 11 for West Brom? I would go with Dave Martin in goal. Okay, I'd be very, very tempted to bring in Conor McLaughlin at right back, because, again, I thought Marlon played well today, and you'll see in the video that I'll put out later on that I said he played well, but goals keep coming from Marlon's side. You know, maybe he's not getting helped out enough by Jed. I don't know. I'll go with Dave Martin in goal, Conor McLaughlin at right back, Shane Ferguson suspended, so it's got to be James Meredith at left back. So straight away, that's a fucking worry. Then I'll have Cooper, and I'll probably bring Hutchinson in instead of Pearce back into the centre-backs. Then I'd have a midfield three. I'd probably play Jed, Marshall, and Ben Thompson as a midfield central three. Then I would go on the left. I would go Aidan O'Brien, because he does well. He's been doing well wide left at home. And at right, I'd bring in Fred probably. You know, and up front I'd have Gregors. You know, again, Fred, where the fuck is he? Why is he not playing? It's madness to me. I think Jed, Marshall, and Tomo in the centre midfield would be good. Or if not, I'd bring probably Williams back in and put Jed. Jed, for me, has got to play central. I'd stick Marshall back wide. Jed's got to play central. I've been saying it for a long, long time. But Jed has to play central as far as I'm concerned. And I think you'll get the best out of him. 124 people watching. James Slaughter, where am I going to be after the QPR match? You'd love to meet me. You probably want to punch me in the face or something. I will be the same place I always am after every game, where we do the interviews, which is at the rear entrance, the rear gate box, where the Coldblow Lane stand meets the club shop, the small club shop. That's where I'll be doing interviews. Who replaces Gregory if he goes? It's a good question, and I'm pretty sure he's going to go. But who replaces him? We're either going to have to find... I mean, let's not forget, we was very, very lucky with Steve Morrison and with Lee Gregory finding non-league gems that managed to make the step up. Gregory didn't do it straight away, but he's become a phenomenal player for us over the years. But who... Okay, so here's a question for you lot. I know the answer to it. I want to see if you lot know. Who signed Lee Gregory? Who signed him? Which manager? Can someone tell me the answer to that? I know what it is. I think it's a bit of Millwall West Ham beef going on. I can see comments going past this. And if West Ham want to waste their time coming on the Millwall fan channel, just let them crack on. We'll take the views. The Veggie Tube. Hello, mate. Well done. Yes, Ian Holloway did sign Lee Gregory. So for all Holloway's faults, he signed Lee Gregory. Billy Bonds signed Neil Harris. Can Neil Harris get it right? And it won't be easy, but we need to... Listen, we ain't going to spend £5 million on a striker. As I said before, the best we can hope for is to venture into the lower leagues and take a punt on a lower league striker that scored a lot of goals. Even a League One player, you know, you'll struggle to get a League One... If you look into League One, like, for example, John Marquis... used to play for Millwall, now plays for Doncaster. He's up for being in the team of the year. He scored a lot of goals this year. You try and buy, can't even fucking say it. If I try to say it, I can tell you. You try and buy John Marquis back from Doncaster, see how much that cost you. And not only see how much that cost you, but see how many other clubs will think, oh, fuck me, Millwall might buy him. No, we'll buy him. No, there'll be 3 or 4 clubs in the running. So these League One players that score a lot of goals, even those, they're not going to be peanuts. And I think it's money that we might not have. So, in conclusion, where am I going with this story? We are punching above our weight. It's going to be very difficult to find a striker that has been consistently... Lee Gregory's our 7th all-time top scorer. Steve Morrison is our 3rd all-time top scorer. It's going to be very difficult to replace well, Morrison's, past his best now, but it's going to be very difficult. And we haven't replaced him. So it's going to be very difficult to replace Morrison, who we're already struggling to replace. And this season probably shows that. And struggling to replace Lee Gregory. But who do we go for? I don't know. You're going to have to go for one of these, as we say, these Norwood characters, or a striker out of League Two, or the Conference even, that score 30, 40 goals and take a chance. How much is a Millwall season ticket? Well, it depends where you sit. It depends how old you are. But it ranges from anything from like $250 up to $450. Oh, so I missed that long one. Frank's London says Bradshaw might come back from injuries stronger and better. Well, let's fucking hope so, because we are pinning a lot of hopes on this man at the minute to come back bigger and stronger, and he's exactly what we need. We didn't see a lot of him before he got injured, Bradshaw. He isn't. He's very small. I thought when we signed him, he was going to be physically, the same sort of stature as Lee Gregory, and Lee Gregory is a machine of a man, but Bradshaw's a lot slimmer, a lot shorter than Gregory, which surprised me when I saw him, because they played up front together at QPR, and he came on at West Brom. I think, Bradshaw's record isn't prolific, especially in the Championship. So are we pinning too much hopes on him? Maybe, but, the money we paid for him may not be a lot in other people's terms, but for us it is a lot of money. So we're entitled to pin hopes on him, and hopefully he'll respond to the pressure. James Slaughter, have I met Tim Cahill? Yes. Many times back in the day when he played for Millwall, when I'm talking back in the early 2000s, and him and a lot of other players used to socialise in the same places we did. Do I regret losing Byron Webster? It's a good question. I love Byron. What a man. You're not just a player, but around the club. He was seen for a long time as a second fiddle to Beavers. But when Beavers got injured and then left to go to Bolton, Byron really come into his own. And I thought he was a great player. I think, he's obviously great to have around the club. He's great. I hate the word, but he's great banter, as they like to say. Bit David Brent-esque. But Byron, I think he didn't come back the same from his injury, and I think he knew that, and I think the club knew that, and I think that's why he went to Scunthorpe. So it was very disappointing to see him go, because he's great. He's a good crack. I've had a good crack of him. He's tried to bury me a couple of times, the big bastard. We've had a little bit of the aforementioned banter, but I think he was past his best. I think he knew it was time for him to move on. Good luck to him at Scunthorpe. Anthony O'Brien, hopefully no relation to Aidan, says, will we ever get a chairman who will dig deep into his pockets? I think that John Berylson does a very good job as our chairman. I think he gets a lot of unfair, not unfair, I don't think he gets criticism, but I think people expect something from him that you're not going to get. He's not one of these fucking sheikhs, or one of these, he's not the Lerner brothers or whatever they're called at Liverpool. He puts in, to my knowledge, a lot of his own money every year to make Millwall survive and make it run sufficiently. So I think if people want to get on the chairman's back, I think they need to stand up and be counted themselves and start fucking turning up to more home games, because our support is shit, if I'm honest, for a lot of home games. Not enough people turn up, not enough people get behind the team. And I know it's expensive and blah, 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 but if you go up north to places like, for example, Sunderland, is their life up there for people like that. And I just think we need to improve crowds. To improve crowds, we can move forward as a club. We fielded them more often, which will be beneficial to the club financially and to the team, atmosphere-wise. I don't think we can point fingers at the chairman. I think he does more than enough, the chairman. And as I said before in his defence, would you want to give Neil Harris an X amount of money to spend? Because the other day for one of our shows, I made a list and I had 10 players that Harris had signed that worked out good signings, and I had 10 that worked out that were fucking shit. And that's 50-50 success rate is not a good enough return, in my opinion. If I was the chairman, I'd be going, whoa, hang on. You only get it right half the fucking time, gaffer. So I'm reluctant to give you them dollars, them beautiful, crisp Berylson dollars to spend. Harris walks, Morrison hangs up his boots and become manager. Would you be happy? I mean, look, if we stay up this season, it's another successful season for Neil Harris. I think we got spoilt last year as a fan base. I think that, last year we overachieved, and as a result, the fans have now got that higher level of expectancy this season. I think on the flip side of that, the problem people have got with Harris this year, it isn't necessarily the results and the league position, it's how disappointing the approaches and the tactics of the game are. But Morrison's not ready to be manager, no way. Morrison's definitely not ready to be a manager. Not his first job, although ironically Millwall was Harris's first job, although he'd done the lower levels of Millwall. But I think in an ideal world, we could get a big investor come in. This is the dream. Harris keeps us up and then walks away at the end of the season and says, I've took it as far as I can, I've done that. Then we get a big investor come in and put a bit of dough in and we get a new manager in. But again, the question I'll ask other people is, who would you get in? Who would you want as manager? Who would want to come to Millwall as manager? It's not an easy fucking task, and you've got to be careful what you wish for, because in the past, we failed miserably with managers. After Kenny Jackett, we had 2 shit managers. And if Harris goes, guarantee you won't get it right first time. Very, very unlikely. See, Josh Hobbs says Lampard's a great manager for Millwall. Frank Lampard ain't going to come to Millwall. He's just not. He's Chelsea, a Chelsea legend, probably a legend of football. I wouldn't personally agree, but a lot of people think he is. He's at Derby as his first managerial job. He's not going to come to Millwall. He's going to think he's above that. He's going to think his shit don't stink. I don't know him personally, but he's going to go, Millwall, no, you're all right. He'll get a coaching role back at Chelsea if Derby doesn't work out, Vincent, someone, free agent, perfect keeper. I've never heard of him, mate. But listen, we've got 4 keepers at the club. This is the thing I don't understand. Archer's conference standard, got to go. Amos is on loan, so send him back. And you're best off just pursuing with King and Martin. No, someone just asked if I think Meredith should play. And no, I shouldn't. No, he shouldn't. But at the minute, we have no other alternative at left back. Murray Wallace is out for the rest of the season. Shane Ferguson is suspended for the next 2 games, as well as today, following his sending off against Brighton in the FA Cup. Josh Hobbs says Tim Cahill should be manager. Listen, Tim Cahill is Australian. He's lived all over the world. He's just retired. So I don't think his missus would be too happy if he decides to come back to South London. He's actually based in New York, Tim Cahill. He actually lives in New York, believe it or not. So, again, he loves the club, yes, and he does love the club. He's one of the few players that actually has love for Millwall and he actually has love for Everton. But Cahill's not going to come back to do a full-time role at Millwall. It's just when you're dreaming if you think that's going to happen. It's never going to happen. 48 minutes. We'll go for another 12 minutes and then we'll jack it, and that'll be an hour then. 120 people watching. Thanks for watching, everyone. Did anyone watching go to the Leeds game today? Talk to me. What did you think? Millwall fans or Leeds fans? What did you think? Samuel went. Samuel, I'm guessing you're probably a Leeds fan by your username. Were you a Leeds fan? Well, I don't manage Millwall. Well, I taught a good game, but you don't know if I'd actually produce the goods. Chris Ballard says everyone needs to go down the Den for home games that are left and make it, rock. That is true. Frank's London says if we had the Den like Brighton every game, do you reckon we would go up? It's a very strange one because if you look, it's a good question as well, Frank. If you look at our results against Premier League clubs, Bournemouth beat them, Watford beat them, Leicester beat them, Brighton, after 90 minutes it would have been a draw. Everton beat them. Our record against Premiership clubs is fucking outrageous, and that's because we fill the Den and the players get up for these big games. So if we got fast-tracked into the Premier League, do I think we'd do okay? No, because we can't even fucking stay in the Championship. I don't know. Maybe we're better suited to the cup finals, the big games, but that's not good enough. The player, again, the players doing as well as we do against Premier League clubs in the cup highlights for me the problem that is within the squad, that we can't get up for games. Now, today's an exception. Leeds are a good side, like Bolton, like Hull. When it's like watching a different team. It's like watching a pub team at Bolton, and then at Bolton it was like watching a Sunday. It was like watching a Sunday league game. It was fucking awful. My vets team could have given either team a game that day at Bolton or at Hull, and then the players play like they do against fucking Everton and against Brighton. So for me, there's something not right with the mentality. Something's got to change. But where does that blame lie? It's a very difficult one to know, because the manager will try and motivate the players after every game and before every game in the same way. I'd say to him, what's fucking wrong with you lot? How can you fucking, what's wrong with you? You can get yourselves up for Everton, you can get yourselves up for Brighton, so fucking get out there and do the business against Hull away on a Tuesday fucking night. Why can't they do it? It's a weird one. I'm not answering that. Sean Duncan says, honestly, do I think we will stay up? Yes, I do believe we will stay up. I always said the whole season we'd stay up. Then I changed my mind a couple of weeks ago and I said, well, I don't know, because after the Bolton game, after the whole game, I couldn't see a way out. But now the gaffer's sticking to the 4-5-1. He's getting close to a team that I think is near our best side as well. I can see, in their last three performances today, Brighton and Birmingham, despite two of those being defeats, I can see a way out now. I can see we're going to have enough about us. I think Ben Thompson will be a massive, integral part of that as well. Why does Harris keep taking their goal scorers or players who are playing well off? It's a good question. And that's the only criticism I've got of the manager today, is that, again, he's taken off Ben Thompson, put on Tom Elliott. You might as well take off Ben Thompson and put on that bottle and go, yeah, Tom, go and have a game. Because Tom Elliott is about as useful as that. Steve Morrison is no longer up to the standard of football. Just whacking a load of forwards on it ain't the way forward. Ain't the way you're going to get back into a game. It's switching the whole emphasis and the whole theory you've approached the whole game. You've done well. We've had a couple of defensive lapses. We've done very well in the whole game. We've competed with Leeds. We go one, for the first time we was in front twice. We let our lead slip. Bang, right, that's it. Go and put 6 forwards on. It just goes against everything you've done over the previous 85 minutes. It's never going to work. It's never going to work, ever. Having said that, it works at Leeds last year. But last year's last year. This year, if you're losing a game and you're going to stick on Aidan O'Brien, Steve Morrison and Tom Elliott, in the last 10 minutes, you might as well fucking walk out. You might as well go, do you know what, just call it a day now. We'll take the defeat. Because it's not... Those players coming off the bench is never, ever going to affect a Millwall game in the way we want it to. Which, it's just not going to happen. It just ain't going to happen. It's painful to watch. Yeah, if we revert back to 4-4-2, we are doomed. And we may well do that with a few home games coming up. That I think the gaffer plays 4-4-2 in games that he expects us to win. I think that's his theory behind the 4-4-2. In games that he expects us to win, that's when he plays the 4-4-2. But honestly, who's he play up front with Gregory? Who? He can't play Tom Elliott. Aidan O'Brien isn't a centre forward. Steve Morrison doesn't do anything. He doesn't win any headers. So you can't play 4-4-2 ever unless we sign someone. This season, you cannot play. If you play any 4-4-2 in any game, you'll lose it. Simple as that. Moving into the last 5 minutes, boys and girls. I give myself an headache fucking waffling on about this fucking football club. But we love it, don't we? It's what it's all about. Yeah, Josh says, I reckon within 2 seasons, someone should invest. Have you got the dough to invest, Josh? Because, it's good. It's all good us saying someone should invest, but fucking who? Who are you going to talk into investing into Millwall? Yes, we are the closest club to Central London. Yes, we have big potential, especially with the regen that's going to go on. What businessmen, and listen, a lot of it's fucking not warranted, but the amount of shit press we get, who's going to want to invest their money into that's what they were looking at from a business point of view. It's not going to happen. Berylson's the best. Again, you know, when I say League One players are the best we can hope for, Berylson is the best we can hope for as a chairman. And as far as I'm concerned, who's going to invest in it? Who's going to invest in Millwall, honestly? J Army, we bottled it. We didn't bottle it. We just can't see a game out. It happens every fucking week to us. No, Paul Moncas. No one ever invested in Millwall. When it's, you know, it's a shame we're saying this as Millwall fans, but I'm a realist, and that is the reality. No one's going to come and go, do you know what? After all the shit press they got, I'm going to invest in them heavily. It won't happen. Will Leeds go up, in my opinion? If they need to go up automatically, because I think they'll bottle it in the playoffs. They've definitely got enough about them as a club, players-wise, structure-wise. And unfortunately for Millwall fans, games like today, when you haven't played great, but you still managed to get it over the line, is a sign of a club that could go up. I think Sheffield United will push you close. But, you know, that you've lost to them last week. If Leeds need to go up automatically if they're going to go up, I think if they don't go up automatically, then I think they'll bottle in the playoffs. I think West Brom will go up in the playoffs, and I'm surprised they sacked Darren Moore, but that's another situation. Razor Ruddock should invest. Fucking couple of Big Macs, that's about it. Do I think Ben Thompson has the quality to play Premiership? Well, this old our horses, but the way he's played the last few games since he's been back, he actually looks a cut above what we've got. You know, he looks like our best player, which is very strange considering that he went away on loan to Pompey and he wasn't really up to the standard of football. Fair play to the gaffer for a good decision to send him out on loan. Fair play to Ben Thompson for really, you know, not bucking his ideas up, because he's always been an all-heart player, but for grinding, you know, knuckling down and thinking, do you know what, no, fuck this, I'm a Millwall player and I'm going to get back to Millwall, I'm going to get in their side and I'm going to show everyone. So fair play to Tomo for showing great character, and fair play also to Kenny Jackett, because he has to have played a part in not just Thompson's development, but Thompson seems to be now a different type of player than when he went to Pompey. When he went to Pompey, he was a tough tackling. What he lacked in ability, Thompson, before he went to Pompey, he made up for in effort and aggression. But now he looks like a 10 that can get him behind and score goals. So I don't know how he's developed that part of his game. I don't know who's responsible for it, but well done to Tomo. Again, he was a massive positive to come out of today's game for me. And as I said before in my pre-match, you know, I think he could single-handedly keep us in the division, and I genuinely mean that. I'm not just saying that to try and big him up, or because he is a Millwall fan, or because I want one of his shirts for the wall, which I do, Tomo, by the way, if there's any chance. But yeah, he is a shining light at the minute in a. I was going to say in a struggling side, but we're not even really struggling. You know, it's a head fuck with me. I've said it I repeated myself a lot this season. It's not because I've got a lack of enthusiasm or ideas, but the same things keep happening. We get a lead, we lose it. We play well for an hour, then we don't. And it's very difficult to analyse, nail down what the problem is, or know how to rectify it. Luckily for me, I'm just a fan channel, so I don't have to rectify it. But the gaffer needs to, you know, that they've got analysts, they've got people for these things now. What the fuck's going on that we can't see a lead out? I think Leeds' third goal today was at 82, 83 minutes again. The amount of goals we've conceded in the last 10 minutes of games this season is just beyond the fucking joke. And I'm sitting here like angry about that, but I'm not, because again, we've competed with one of the top sides today for a very long time. We was very unlucky. And listen, you can't keep beating Leeds. We keep fucking beating them. We keep upsetting them. So that they was due one today. I said that in my pre-match. They was due a result against us. But listen, boys and girls, that has been 30 seconds away from an hour of live stream, question time, ranting, cold lagers, and I even farted once or twice without you knowing. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm going to have a little rest now because there is other videos to edit. But onwards and upwards, although we've sipped the 21st in the table, I think we've shown enough in the last 3 games to keep us in the division. There will be more videos going out hopefully tonight, tomorrow, or the next day. It's on to the next one at West Brom. Please subscribe to Lions TV. Come on, you Lions.